Oh my god.
What's up guys? Today, I'm going to showcase my starter witch build that I've been using to speedrun the campaign. As always, I've included the Mobalytics and now a path of building link in the description, and with that, let's get into the giveaway portion of the video. I'm going to be giving away gift cards to you guys as a thank you for hitting 1,000 subscribers. Just comment under the pinned comment on the video and I'll let you guys know if we won. Once we hit 1K subs on YouTube, I'll be doing the giveaway live on my Twitch, so feel free to stop by then. I'll give more details as we get closer to that number, and let's get into the video. So, my starter witch build makes mapping a breeze with the skeletal snipers combined with raging spirits, and we make bossing easy by using the gas arrow command on the skeletal snipers, and we ignite that gas by using flame wall. We're also really tanky thanks to one, our minions eating some damage for us and grabbing aggro, and then we have our summon Infernal Hound here who's going to be eating 20% of our damage that we take, and then we're also utilizing energy shield, which is really strong in the game right now. So regardless of what ascendancy that you picked, it should still work either way, whether you picked Infernalist or if you pick Blood Mage, it shouldn't matter. The only real difference is the Infernal Hound right here. So if you pick Blood Mage and you still see this and you want to try this out, feel free. It's not going to be that big of a difference at all. So let's go ahead and break down some of the skill gems and support gems I'm using in the build. So in the Scepter slot, we're going to be using Clarity and Cannibalism. We want to be running these here because you'll notice down here in my Spirit, it's 19 out of 322. If I take these slots out, they stay the same. These skills typically eat up Spirit, but since we're using them up here, they're not eating any, so it's more room for more minions. So run these. If you picked Infernalist, you'll have Summon Infernal Hound. We're going to be picking Meat Shield because we want to keep his max life up because he's eating damage for us, so we don't want him dying at any cost. We're going to be running Elemental Army to boost his elemental resistances by 30%. Fire Exposure because he passively ignites enemies in his presence, so when he ignites them, it'll inflict fire exposure, which will let us do more fire damage. For our mapping and our bossing, we use Skeletal Snipers. We have Scattershot on there for more projectiles. We have Martial Tempo for more attack speed. We have Minion Mastery to up their level by 1, and Heft for more damage. We use their gas arrow command to ignite the gas cloud to create that large explosion to do all that burst CPS that you're seeing. We ignite this with either the Hound or Flame Wall. So on Flame Wall, we use this to cast to get Raging Spirits. We're going to be running Mobility. That way we move faster while we're using this skill so we can map quicker. We're going to be having Fortress. That way it creates it in a circle rather than a line. Arcane Tempo for faster cast speed, and Arcane Surge. Once we expend 100% of our maximum mana within 8 seconds, it'll proc Arcane Surge, which will let us get more cast speed and mana regen. This will happen quite often. If you don't have the 4th slot, I would chop this off. So we have Raging Spirits. This is being summoned once we cast Flame Wall, these little flaming skull guys that you see. We're going to be having Fire Infusion for more fire damage. We'll have Feeding Frenzy for more damage. We'll have Immolate because we're igniting with either our Hound or our Flame Wall, and these guys will do 30% more damage against ignited enemies. Then Fire Penetration, so these guys can penetrate some fire resist to do more damage. Bone Cage is our panic button. It's going to cast a large bone cage around you. If you get surrounded by enemies and you need to hit this to kind of push them off of you, this will pin them, especially with lockdown, boosting their pin buildup. And then we also run Bludgeon, so it knocks back those enemies. Use this if you get swarmed. And then we run Physical Mastery for the last one to up its level by 1. I don't use this very often. Pain Offering, we use this once we go into a boss arena, or if there's like a lot of enemies. This will sacrifice 1 or 2 of your minions to boost your total damage. So Persistence to increase the duration of the offering. Danse Macabre, so that way we have increased buff effect and also more damage. It will sacrifice 1 additional minion, but this is totally worth it to get more boss damage. And then Ablation, this will increase the buff effect and allow us to do more damage. It is going to sacrifice 15% of your life on use, but this is also really worth it for extra damage. I then have Detonate Dead. This isn't used very commonly, but I'm kind of planning to maybe use this towards closer to endgame. What happens is you will explode a enemy's body and it will create a fiery explosion. I'm running Magnified Effect to increase the area of effect. We have Spell Echo. That way the spell will echo and occur again. And then I'm running Considered Casting to increase the damage when the spell hits. This isn't necessary, but this is something I'm planning for the future. And then for our defensive slot, we have Grim Feast. This is going to allow us to get these Grim Remnants whenever we kill enemies to bolster our energy shield. This can overfill up to double our energy shield. So now I'm going to talk about some of the gear that you can run. I'm going to have a early game setup, which I'm currently wearing right now, the kind of normal game setup, and potential items to use. So go ahead and skip to that part that you want. Check the timestamps if you need to. So if you're level 1, 2, or 3, and you just got the clear fell, and you want to make it super fast to get through your campaign, or just much easier, I would recommend that you throw on some of these uniques. We have Luminous Pace to get you 10% increased movement speed. We have Fox Shade to also get you 10% increased movement speed, so 20% increased movement speed at the start of the campaign, which is huge for getting around. We then have Innsmouth's Shabby Hood for increased mana regeneration rate. This will let you spam your abilities early on with no worry. We have Meganord's Girdle Rawhide Belt. This will get you anywhere from 40 to 50 strength. This will increase your max life and give you some cold resist. So more life early on, nice for some survival. If you have it, even though it's really expensive, but if you do have it, the Everlasting Gaze Azure Amulet, it will take a percentage of your mana and give it to you as energy shield on top. So it'll also increase your regeneration rate. If you have this, you can run something else instead of the Innsmouth Shabby Hood. For your regular gear on your scepter, I would go for as much spirit as possible, increase spirit, because the more spirit that you have, the more minions that you have. So this is really huge early on to increase the number of your minions. Also, level of minion skill is super important, and any added attack or increased damage to allies in your presence is also nice. The level of minion skills is super important because when you're first starting out, your reservation on a level 1 skeletal sniper is 90, but a level 7 has 35. So if you can increase the level of your minions quick as you can, it will reduce the reservation and let you have more of them. Your gauntlets can be any that you can just kind of come across, anything with attack speed or max mana, max life, added damage to attack, and then any resistances or dex and intelligence is really nice early on. And for your rings, I would just go anything with added attributes, mana, life, some resistances, life on kill, mana on kill, evasion rating, energy shield, anything like that. Same thing on here, all elemental resistances or anything like that. That's super easy. Just kind of whatever you can get on at the very start of the game. Once you reach level 7, I recommend that you go ahead and get the Oaksworn Sigil Crest Shield. This will let you get 50 additional spirit and some chaos resist right off the rip to increase your number of minions. So once you reach level 16, I would replace the Oaksworn Sigil Crest Shield with the Trench Timbre Spike Club. This will allow you to get an additional up to 3 levels on your minion skills, which is huge for increasing the health, the damage, and then the reduced reservation of your minions. Try to get a corrupted one that has 2 socket slots, because once you get closer to endgame, you should be able to buy you some of the soul cores that give you plus 15 spirit apiece. So at 2 slots, you can get 30 additional spirit off of your Spike Club here. I would also recommend that you swap the Fox Shade for the Enfolding Dawn at this point. You'll get an additional 100 spirit on top for more minions, and also anywhere from 5 to 15% to all elemental resistances. The only downside to this chest piece is that your intelligence provides no bonus to your mana, so you want to get pieces of gear that will give you max mana to kind of circumvent this. Once you get to a point in the game that you can either get 20% movement speed boots or 25% movement speed boots, you can go ahead and swap those out for a normal pair of boots, so that way you can get some boost to your resistances and your mana or your life. And then I would also swap off the Innsmouth once you are good enough on your mana to another helmet that will give you level of all minion skills. This will increase, of course, the damage, the health, and the reservation of your minion skills. And I would also swap off the Everlasting Gaze for a amulet that will give you anywhere from +1 to +2 level of minion skills, some mana regen, some cast speed, life, mana, stuff like that. So that way that you could, get some more damage and, reduce reservation on your minions. I also wanted to add some optional uniques right here that you could also use early on or later on in the game. These are just ones I haven't tested out personally, but maybe you guys can find some use for them. We have Zoth's Blood, so that way enemies in your presence have fire exposure, so that way you can take some of those skill gem slots off. So any enemy in your presence will now take additional fire damage. It will also give you 10 to 15% increased max life, and also some fire resistance, so that is a really nice amulet to run. We have the Inferno class plate belt. This will give you some armor for some physical damage reduction, some strength. It'll increase your maximum fire resistance and then give you some bonus fire resistance. And the only reason that I recommend this is because on the passive skill tree in the Ascendancy area, you have Altered Flesh, which will convert a portion of cold and lightning damage to fire damage. So increasing your fire damage as much as possible is great for making it so that you take less damage. And then another belt that you could run early on instead of Meganord's is this one. It'll give you some more mana. It'll take some of your damage that you take and recoup it as mana, and then give you a percent to all elemental resistances. So now I'm gonna go ahead and break down the passive and ascendancy skill tree. If you just want to kind of look and not listen to me explain why I picked what I picked, you can just, I'll pause right here so you can look at that. And then here's the upper section that I took. Okay, so I'm currently level, I think 52, and I'll go ahead and break down the path that I took, all the skills, so you can follow me as you level up. I'll start with the ascendancy tree. With your first 2 points, you should take the Loyal Hellhound to get the Summon Infernal Hound. This will let that guy eat some of the damage that we take for us, and also increase our minion max life. Once you get the next 2, I have decided to go with Altered Flesh. We're going to get 3% max life there, and then it's going to convert portions of Cold and Lightning to fire damage and physical to chaos. I plan on picking some of these nodes down here to take eventually, so that's why I'm taking this path. So now I'm going to show you the path that I took as I leveled up. So I start off getting some increased damage, spell damage. I then elected to get max life to increase our minion max health. Some more damage. We got some damage, attack, and cast speed. More damage. I then flow out this way, picking intelligence nodes. I came here first because I wanted to increase the elemental resistances of our minions. You want to keep them alive, so that way if you don't want them dying, because when they die you're just kind of stuck out there by yourself and you're going to get hit more often. So do this to keep them alive, and then I immediately went down to Restless Dead to increase the revive speed, so if they do die they come back quicker. I then grabbed these nodes for more damage, and you could skip this node right here if you wanted to, but increase area of effect and cooldown recovery. This will affect that poison cloud on the command gas arrow on the skeleton guys. So after I picked those nodes over there, I decided to go this way to increase my energy shield because my damage was so good at the time I didn't even have to bother with it. So this made it to where I was more survivable. I then grabbed this socket right here to throw a jewel in there, and this is what I have in my jewel. I have some recover life. You could go for recover mana on kill, have some cast speed, some damage, and stuff like that. I then jumped over to here, to these nodes right here, to increase their damage even further, and then they got some chaos resist, and then they gained some physical damage as chaos damage. I then grabbed the crit nodes and crit damage nodes, and then I grabbed the max life and chaos resist. I then decided to come up here and get every single one of these nodes. I grabbed this one first, the recoups, that way they could get some health back whenever they're taking damage. And then I grabbed all of the resistance nodes to keep them alive. Then after I did that, I shot out this way and immediately started heading for this section over here. This is what I plan on grabbing next. The only reason I'm coming out this way is because minions will have reduced reservation, so I can get some more minions. We also have some increased max life and some more chaos res and physical damage reduction to get. I'll grab all of these nodes. I probably won't grab these. I'll leave these alone. And then my plan is to come out this way and get all 3 of these nodes over here. So now I'm going to go ahead and break down the gameplay loop of it as you're mapping and doing some bosses. So I'm currently in Act 1 Cruel, and it's 45 here. I am 51. I'm a little bit over, but there is a really easy boss to get to over here, so that's why I'm over here. So as you're running around, you're going to be wanting to cast your Flame Ball to summon the Raging Spirits. This will also allow any arrows that your guys shoot to be ignited to do bonus damage. And you'll see that the Raging Spirits are chasing down any enemies and dealing some nice damage to them. My Hellhound is also running up to them, attacking them, igniting them. So you just kind of run up, cast your Flame Wall in front of you, let your Raging Spirits handle everything, and let these guys clean up the rest. If you kind of get swarmed, like I said, let's say I run up here, you can go ahead and hit your Bone Wall to pin these guys to prevent them from moving, and you can finish them off. And here's the boss up here. Before you start fighting the boss, I recommend that you use your gas arrow and then ignite the gas arrow with your either your Hound's Ignite or your Flame Wall. So, and before you walk into the boss arena, you could also, do your offering on the skeletons to increase your damage, but that's kind of the general loop. And you do have Detonate Dead to use if you want to kind of explode some corpses to do damage, but this is something I'm saving for later. But you can see that it does nice area damage, and it is an option if you want. But that's going to be it for the video. I appreciate you guys watching. I also appreciate the amount of support you guys have shown me here recently. The channel is absolutely going crazy. I look forward to doing the giveaway here soon for you guys. I'll be doing it live on Twitch. Once I get really close to hitting 1K subs, I'll put a date out there so that everybody, if you want to, you can come by and watch me do it live on Twitch. But I will be giving away gift cards, like I said, and I look forward to it. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. Give me some tips or tricks in the comment section. I'll be updating this to an endgame version here soon, and I'll also be updating my monk build here soon too as well. So I look forward to that, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. See ya.